Hello and welcome to SJ's classes. This is my second video lesson on Indian aesthetics. In my previous video lesson, I introduced to you this field of knowledge or discipline called Indian aesthetics. I spoke about how you see the word aesthetics in general and also how traditionally aesthetics is seen as a branch of philosophy that deals with beauty or that which is beautiful. I also discussed this particular field of knowledge in the Indian context. I pointed out some of the theories of literature associated with Indian aesthetics like Rasa, Dwani, Vakroti, and Alamkara. I also spoke a bit about Bharata and his Natya Shastra, as it was Bharata who first wrote on aesthetics through his seminal work Natya Shastra. In this video lesson, I will discuss an essay written by an Indian philosopher who is a renowned scholar of Sanskrit and philosophy. The essay is titled The Theory of Rasa. This is actually an extract from his popular work, A History of Sanskrit Literature. Before we move into the essay, let's go through a brief introduction to the writer. S N Das Gupta, in full, Surendranath Das Gupta, is an Indian philosopher who is renowned for his works like A History of Indian Philosophy, which was written in 5 volumes, Yoga as Philosophy and Religion, and Indian Idealism. He was born in Bengal and is a scholar of Sanskrit and philosophy. His philosophical system synthesized aspects of Vedantic literature, Indian Jainism, particularly its mysticism, the British and American school of New Realism, and the theory of emergent evolution. Some of his popular works are General Introduction to Tantra Philosophy, A History of Sanskrit Literature, Rabindranath, the poet and philosopher, and Saundarya Tattva. So these are some of the biographical and literary details regarding the author S N Das Gupta. Now let's try to understand his essay, The Theory of Rasa. S N Das Gupta begins the essay by quoting the maxim given by Bharata in his Natya Shastra. This maxim has connections with the origin or accomplishment of rasa. S N Das Gupta says, we must start the theory of rasa or aesthetic emotion with Bharata's maxim, Vibhanubhava Vyabhichari Samyogat Rasanishpatte. That is, the rasa is accomplished as a result of the conjunction of Vibhava, Anubhava, and Vyabhichari Bhava. Now let's look at these 3 concepts in detail: Vibhava, Anubhava, and Vyabhichari Bhava. Vibhava is the objective condition producing an emotion. It can be described as the object or situation that produces an emotion or that evokes an emotion. It may be of 2 kinds: Alambana Vibhava and Uddipana Vibhava. Alambana Vibhava means a person or persons with reference to whom the emotion is manifested. Uddipana Vibhava means the circumstances that have excited the emotion. So the object or the person or the situation that evokes an emotion in a person can be termed as Vibhava. Vibhava is of 2 types, Alampana Vibhava and Uddipana Vibhava. When it is a person with reference to whom the emotion is manifested, you call it Alampana Vibhava, and when a circumstance evokes an emotion, then you can term it Uddipana Vibhava. Now let's look at the second concept introduced by Bharata. Anubhava means bodily expression by which the emotion is expressed. You have emotions like Shringara, you have emotions like Raudra, Veera, Shanta, and all these emotions are expressed through various changes in your bodies, especially your facial expression. This bodily manifestation of an emotion or bodily expression of an emotion is termed as Anubhava. Let's also try to understand the third concept, Vyabhichari Bhava. Vyabhichari means a series of diverse emotions that feed the dominant emotion. I'll give you an example. A woman in love, anxiously waiting to meet her lover, may feel disappointed that he is not coming. So you have one emotion, one primary or less dominant emotion that has come over her, which is a feeling of disappointment. May be anxious that something might have happened to him. Yet another emotion that has come to her, anxious. She is anxious. She may also be jealous that he might have been courted by another woman. So a third emotion that we confront here. The first was disappointment, the second was anxiety, and the third is jealous. She may also feel delight in remembering the coaxing words that he had whispered into her ears and so on. So in this example, you have multiple or diverse emotions like disappointment, anxiety, jealousy, and delight that feed upon the dominant emotion, which is love. So these diverse or multiple emotions felt by the person is termed as Vyabhichari Bhava. S N Das Gupta further says in this essay that the real discussion of Rasa was started by Abhinavagupta in his commentary on Bharada's maxim on Rasa. He then goes on to discuss the 9 primary emotions that form the foundation of Rasa. He says, Rasa is based on a few primary emotions which lie deep in the subconscious or unconscious strata of our being. These primary emotions or rasas are Shringara, which stands for love, Karuna, which stands for sorrow, Hasya for laughter, Raudra for anger, Veera for heroism or courage, Bhayanaga for terror or fear, Bhivatsya for disgust, Adbhuta for surprise or wonder, and Shanta, which stands for peace or tranquility. These emotions run through all natures in a permanent manner and may in that sense be called dominant emotions or sthayi bhava. It should be noted that no emotion is called rasa unless it is aesthetically excited. Rasa is an emotion excited by artistic circumstances or situations. So rasa has to be evoked in an or in a spectator, in a reader. If it can be termed rasa only if it is aesthetically or artistically evoked. S N Das Gupta also points out some of the earlier writers of Indian aesthetics, and to be specific, theoreticians regarding rasa. Some earlier writers like Bhatta Lolada held that Vibhava, Anubhava, and Vyabhichari are ingeniously described or set forth vividly by mime, and these factors cooperate together to produce rasa. Some of the other contributions made towards the field of rasa were done by aestheticians like Mamada, Shamkuga, Abhinavagupta, Bhattadauta, who is the author of Kavya Kaudaga, and Bhattanayaga. S N Das Gupta also ponders for a while on Bhattanayaga and his concepts Bhavagatva and Bhojagatva. Bhattanayaga said that Rasa is neither produced nor suggested. It's also not created by anything. He held that a proper aesthetic creation has the peculiar function of generating in us a new spiritual creation, and in us we have a special function by which we can enjoy it. So, a proper aesthetic creation has a peculiar function of generating in us a new spiritual creation. This is the argument that Bhattanayaga made. The former is called Bhavagatva, the new spiritual creation that is being made. And the latter is called Bhojagatva, the special function in us by which we can enjoy this special creation, or this spiritual creation, that is termed as Bhojagatva. S N Das Gupta winds up this essay by sharing his thoughts on Alaukiga, or that which is transcendental. He uses the word chamatkara to describe the transcendental. He says that the word chamatkara in reality is used in three different senses. It is sometimes used to denote the special aesthetic attitude of mind. It also means the aesthetic pleasure arising out of it. And thirdly, it may also be used to denote the bodily manifestation of such an enjoyment. And there we come to the end of this essay. Thank you so much for joining me. In the next video lesson, I will discuss yet another important literary critic in this field of study. I will discuss an essay titled Use and Abuse of Alamkara by V. Raghavan. Thank you.